Thank you, Jill. And good morning to you. Good morning to everyone. I will briefly introduce to the situation of the indigenous peoples in the movement for right to self-determination in northeast part of India, specifically reference to Manipur, which I belong to. And I belong to the Meitei people of Manipur. The northeast part of India, it comprises 7 states: Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya. So you will find the map there. It's in the extreme east of India, which is completely separated from the mainland part of India. And northeast part of India is surrounded by China on the north, Myanmar on the east, Bangladesh in the west, and of course Bhutan and Nepal is a part of our border. And we are connected to India by just merely 40-50 kilometers of tract of land. Most of out of the 7 states, at least 4 states are still afflicted with armed conflict because the indigenous peoples in the states of Manipur, in the state of Nagaland, in the state of Meghalaya and Tripura and Assam, these are still, there is ongoing movement for right to self-determination, where it varies from complete separation from India, like Manipur and Nagaland, and also Assam and Tripura. And also there are areas where there is demand for greater autonomy within the Constitution of India. Some of the groups which are demanding right to self-determination in Manipur includes the Revolutionary People's Front and the United National Liberation Front. And in Nagaland, it's there are 2 factions of the National Socialist Council of Nagaland. In Assam, it's the United Liberation Front of Assam. The response of the government of India to the demand for the right to self-determination of Manipur and Nagaland and Assam is more with the military response, adoption of military response, which includes the enactment of emergency legislation like the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, which permits full-scale deployment of the Indian Armed Forces in this region, in Manipur, Nagaland, and also providing with special powers, including powers to kill on mere suspicion, and also which derogates non-derogable rights like right to judicial remedy. These are rights which cannot be derogated under any conflict situation. So these are derogated. In the context of Manipur and Tripura, these are independent states before the British come in 1991, and after British left in 1947, we had our own political process happening. Manipur had a constitution where we had an election and a constituent assembly set up. But the government of India annexed in 1949 without the consent of the people of Manipur. Let's go next. And apart from the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, but there are also many other emergency legislation like the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of 1967, the National Security Act of 1980, the Seditious Meeting Act of, these are Colonial Act of 1911, which all allows, permits the armed forces to conduct, with more powers and permitting them to commit human rights violations. And also facilitates targeting human rights defenders and also indigenous people's rights activists who come forward to defend human rights and also who try to defend our land from development aggression and all forms of intrusion into our territories. Next. Yeah, these are some of the problems, and there are serious cases of violation which are well reported by many of the international human rights organizations like Amnesty International, the Human Rights Watch. They already come up with a lot of human rights studies, and also there are so many recommendations from the UN human rights bodies who have recognized the prevalence of human rights situation, and in fact they have urged upon the government in several occasions to respect the human rights, right to life. Not to torture indigenous peoples, and also to respect the basic indigenous people's right, including the right to free, prior, and informed consent before introducing any development process in our part of the world. So these are some of the response of the community, especially women, when the Indian Army comes up with, there are several army operations. One of the operations quite recent is called the Operation Summer Storm, which has led to severe scale of displacement of indigenous communities. But also, this is in Manipur, but also has led to a lot of killing of many of our indigenous resistance groups. Next. Yeah, this is also a campaign against using civilians as human shield. Sorry, I'm asked to speak slowly. Too fast, yeah. The previous one is the community coming out not to use civilians as human shields in the army operations, in military operations, because when the army conduct operations, they tend to use civilians, forcibly use them so that they can enter into areas where the liberation groups control. Yeah, this is one of the campaigns. There is a strong movement to repeal the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, because this is an act, which I said, which derogates non-derogable rights, and which has led to serious scale of human rights violation targeting the indigenous peoples of Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, and Tripura, and Assam. Which has led to serious. There are so many cases of extrajudicial execution. So when Philippines is having this campaign against stop killing in the Philippines, in Manipur also, in Northeast part also, we are having this campaign, stop killings in Manipur. Next slide, please. So this is one case in 2004. There was a case where a young woman, her name is Miss Manorama, Thangem Manorama Chanu. She was arrested by one of the paramilitary group in Manipur, which we know as the Assam Rifles. They arrested her from her home, and then the next day she was raped and killed. So the woman came forward and protested. But then it's a series of protests. But this is one of the protests where the woman came forward. It's in front of the military camp, actually. So they are asking the Indian army to come and rape them all. This is one of the photos which shows the entire global community, in fact. Yeah. Next. There is also a serious scale of developmental aggression in northeast part of India. We have the mining. The government of India is coming up with a lot of agreement on nuclear deal with the US. So one of the reasons is also one of the initiatives under the nuclear deal is to start uranium mining in northeast part. There is a place called Meghalaya, so they wanted to mine uranium from that place. So there is strong resistance against uranium mining. And one of the serious concerns in our part is again mega dam construction. India, it is coming up as economic power, but they want to use our rivers, the Brahmaputra and Barak river system in northeast part of India, to construct so many dams, 169 mega dams, and they also want to use those dams for getting carbon credits in the name of mitigating climate change again. So it's a kind of double injustice to the people of northeast part of India. And some of the mega dams include the Tipanu Dam, Subansiri, Loktak project. And many of the dams which are already commissioned have led to serious scale of devastation, loss of livelihood for people of the indigenous peoples of the region, and also militarization, and further leading to more conflict in the region. And another one is oil drilling. Oil drilling. There are so many companies coming in northeast part of India, and in fact, it has led to a lot of environmental disasters and taking away our resources without our consent. There is no way to take the consent of the community, because petroleum and its resources and any related resource like natural gas is considered by the government of India as the exclusive property of the government. So there is no way out to consider the community rights over our own resources, the right of our own community to decide and define how we use our resources like oil and water and also forest. Next. So, and also, India is also planning to expand its trade with Look-East policy, Southeast Asia. So there is a connotation called the Look-East policy where they want to use our territory again for expanding its trade to Southeast Asia. In the process, they constructed this Trans-Asian Highway, Trans-Asian Railway, and now ADB, the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, the Japanese Bank, these are all invested into so many projects which can lead to further extraction and destruction of our resources. As I mentioned, the water resource, the forest resource, the mineral resources, and also to use our land as land route to other places, not for the development of the indigenous peoples of northeast part of Manipur or Nagaland or Assam, but to facilitate the economic advantage of other people who doesn't belong to our part of the world. So these are some of the cases of, there are two special cases where people who resist development, aggression, and also people who call for more greater recognition of their rights, they are targeted by the same military who are deployed to counter the insurgents in Manipur, the liberation groups in Manipur. So you have several cases where people are killed. You know, people who protest against Kuga Dam, there is a dam in Manipur, they are killed, 3 of them are killed in 2005. And there is another case. Next. So we have the ADB and World Bank projects coming in as part of India. Again, as I mentioned, we have the Lafarge mining of limestone. We have the case of Mizoram Road project, which doesn't, translate into any meaningful benefits for the people. And also, there are serious issues in terms of the non-recognition of the people's rights over our land and resources. There is no way out to take the consent of our people. There is no way out to conduct full-scale impact assessment that will impact at a different aspect, social impact, economic impact, and also human rights impact. And of course, such processes have led to intensification of the human rights violations, and of course, conflict both within the community and the state, but also within the communities. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. So this is one of the campaigns. One of the response of the communities again when we have human rights violation is like there is a demand saying that in probably Manipur, go back Indian Army, because it's a very political decision, because the Indian Army come to Malaysia in one way of colonization of Manipur and other parts of Northeast. So we are demanding that the Indian Army should return. There should be end of militarization in Manipur. Next, please. Next, please. So, there are protests which demands concrete solutions from Manipur, and one of the demands is to exercise our right to self-determination, and the government should recognize our right to freedom and for liberation. Next. So, the final recommendation is we would like to urge upon the government of India and also the international community to support the recognition of the right to self-determination of the indigenous peoples in Northeast India, wherever there are movements for right to self-determination. And also to ensure full human rights, the right to life, right to judicial remedy, right against torture, and to have fundamental rights, which are guaranteed by the International Human Rights Conventions. And next, please. And also there is a call for a political resolution of the political conflicts in all parts of the world. Next, please. Yeah, and also to demilitarize our region, and also to respect the indigenous people's rights, right to self-determination, and also to recognize the right to free prayer and informed consent before any development process, and also to take and also one special demand is for a moratorium on all forms of extractive industries which are imposed in our region, produced in the region without our consent. So this is one clear recommendation that I would also like to propose. Next, please. Okay, so thank you very much. This is a recent campaign against the Paiput Dam in Manipur. So we are demanding that let the Barak River flow, let all the rivers in Northeast flow free. Thank you very much, and long live international solidarity.